Today we're looking at the interior of this 2025 Acura ZDX Type S. What does the most expensive Acura get you on the inside? Let's go ahead and find out. I am a little disappointed with this interior because the materials don't exactly match up with the $75,000 price tag. That is probably because this is very heavily based on a Chevrolet. The door panel is going to be made of soft touch plastic on the upper part, leather wrapped through the center area with red stitching, open port wood trim, aluminum, 2-person memory seats, all of your switch gear, and there is also a real metal Bang & Olufsen speaker grill. There is a good amount of storage at the bottom, and that is your trunk release right there. These seats are going to have Type S branding, and they come in black or red. We have the black with suede inserts and red stitching. They will also have 16 ways of power adjusting, and they are quite comfortable. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the ZDX's interior. Starting with the steering wheel, it is very nicely leather wrapped and heated. The leather is also perforated. There is one paddle that is to control the regen braking, and then all of your buttons are going to be in matte black plastic. There is also Type S branding on the bottom. You will notice that there is some gloss black on the upper area. That is because this ZDX has GM's Super Cruise function. Super Cruise is GM's hands-free driving assistant, and because the ZDX is so heavily based on the Blazer EV, this car also gains Super Cruise. I think that is quite a nice feature, and I will cover it more in the driving video. The gauge cluster is fully digital and very customizable. You can cycle through a few different views by pushing this button right here. And my favorite has to be the Google Maps view, because if you are navigating somewhere, this can be very helpful. Additionally, there is a head-up display. Unfortunately, materials in the ZDX do not justify the $75,000 price tag. There is some stitched leatherette on the upper dash, but most everything else is plastic. The climate controls are going to be in gloss black, but pretty much everything else is going to be in matte plastic. That is quite disappointing because $75,000, especially for an Acura, is a lot of money. Materials may not be good, but storage is definitely a different story. Because the Acura ZDX has a column-mounted shifter, that opens up a lot of space to the center area. You get 2 cup holders, a big storage tray, a wireless phone charger, and when you open up the center console, there is a ton of space. Unfortunately, it is not felt lined, so sunglasses could get scratched in there. Additionally, there is a center pass-through to put anything else you might have. Climate controls are completely physical, although they don't resemble Acura's newest design. You get physical buttons and knobs, and the knobs feel very high quality, although I don't know if it is made of real aluminum or not. The rest of the buttons are going to be in gloss black. You have your fan speed controls right here, and everything is going to pop up on the main infotainment system. You also get heated and ventilated seats. The main infotainment system in the ZDX is actually running GM's latest software. However, that is not a bad thing because, as you can see, it is very responsive. It is also Google-based, so you get Google Maps, Google Assistant, and Google Play Store. Additionally, you get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and GM is actually removing that from all of their electric cars. That is very nice to see in the ZDX because a lot of people are not liking that decision made by GM. Also, the ZDX comes with an 18-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. Like in most GM vehicles, the shifter is actually column-mounted. To go into drive, you're just going to pull back and go down, and for reverse, you're going to go in the opposite direction. That will bring up a relatively high-resolution 360-degree backup camera. There is active trajectory, and the car can actually park itself. Also, there are multiple different views, which is quite nice. There is also a wheel shot so that you don't damage these beautiful 22-inch alloy wheels. Now let's take a look and see how the parking sensors work. When you pull up close to an object, it will actually vibrate your seat, and that is very effective. Also, a graphic pops up right there and on the gauge cluster. In my opinion, the vibrating of the seat is a lot more effective than beeping. If someone has the windows down, they might not be able to hear the parking sensors beeping, but they will definitely be able to feel the seat vibrating. To put the car into park, you're just going to push the end of the stalk. Up top, you're going to find a digital rearview mirror, and you can adjust it with the flick of a switch. You'll also find your hazard light buttons and your emergency services, and there is a large panoramic sunroof up top. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the passenger side. The door panel is pretty similar, so you get storage at the bottom, a metal speaker grill, open port wood trim, and 2-person memory seating. The seats are also going to be the same, so you get leather and suede seats with 16 ways of power adjusting. The dashboard will be made of soft touch material with some red contrast stitching, and you will get a center pass-through for storage. In the glove box, there is a good amount of room, but there is no felt lining. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the rear seats. On the door panel, you won't find a ton of storage, but you will get a leather armrest, wood trim, and sunshades. In the back of the ZDX, I have plenty of legroom and headroom, and the seat back is going to be in soft touch plastic, which isn't something I would like to see at $75,000. However, there is a good sized seat back pockets. In the middle, there is a third zone of climate control along with heated seats. At the bottom, you will find 2 USB-C ports and a household style outlets. There are also vents, and an armrest will fold down with 2 cup holders. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the cargo area and see what the ZDX offers back here. You can open the trunk with your foot, but I'm just going to use the key fob for now. Behind the second row of seats, there is 28.7 cubic feet of space, which isn't terrible, but I was expecting a little bit more considering that this is almost the same size as the MDX. There are 2 very large cubbies on either side, and there is a lot of storage underneath the floor. And that is one of the advantages of an electric vehicle, because it doesn't have so many parts like a gas tank or a drive shaft that take up so much space.